Let's find a place on our mat, easy seated, whatever way works for you. You can sit warrior seat. If your legs need to stay extended out, you can do that as well. So this thread of thought comes from chapter 3 in the Yoga Sutras. It's thread 3, number 15. And I really think it applies to us as teachers and people in education. Different methods produce different changes. Different methods produce different changes. And so, whatever the talents that a student shows up with or an individual that we're working with shows up with, different methods produce different changes. And so today, be willing to choose the methods that work for your body. We got some rockin' music going. Bring it down just a little so we can quiet. So close the eyes. And take a moment to notice how your energy is this morning. Notice how your physical body is doing. And see if you can create a little more length in your spine. Notice if that creates more ease in the back and the chest. And connect to your breath. And deepening the breath, finding the three-part Dirga breath. Moving from the belly, so you feel your belly kind of initiating that breath. And lifting up towards the chest. And this kind of helps alleviate some of the stress response. The panic tends to happen with shallow breathing in the chest. So starting to allow the breath to get longer, slower, and start from the belly can help calm the system. And then moving into the ocean-sounding breath. This breath is a marvelous breath. There are no contraindications to it at all. And it will connect to the vagus nerve, which will invigorate all the systems of the body. If you are familiar with the breath, go ahead and move into the breath. If you're new to this breath, you might explore it by opening your lips slightly and then feel as if you've got a mirror in front of your lips, and you're going to fog up that mirror on the exhalation. Then draw that breath into the back of the throat on the inhale. And then play with that at the exhale and the inhale. And then as you continue with that, notice this gentle constriction in the back of the throat. And then let your lips close slightly and let the breath flow in and out of the nose, making that gentle constriction in the back of the throat. as you're ready to let go of the control of the breath, just take a moment to witness the shift of energy. And bring your hands to your heart. Take a moment to clarify an intention here. Repeat it in your mind's eye. Uniting voices in the sound of one Om, taking an inhale. Sending greetings across the airways. Go ahead down onto your back. And first let your legs extend out for a moment. Good, and then just feel how the body melts to the mat. And as you do that, kind of symbolically let go. As if the worries of the world are just dropping out of you, as if they're sinking down into the sand on the beach. Take an inhale and let go one more time. Bring the knees in and give them a little hug if you can wrap the arms around okay. And just gently rock a little side to side. Good, and put your hands on your knees and start to circle and rock side to side. Circling around your hips, using the knees to stabilize you. And then let it go in the other direction. Good, and release. Bring those knees so they touch. And keep your low back on the mat. Okay. Bring the hands to the back of the head and start to move the knees over to one side. Not letting them touch the ground, come back to center. And move them over to the other side. And back to center. So let's bring those knees together. You can keep those knees like so, touching, or lift the right leg and move your knees to the left. Come back to center, bring the right leg down, and lift the left leg up, and move the knees to the right. And then come back to center, and switch and lift. Back to center, and switch and lift. And then come back to center. You're going to bring your hands onto your thighs. Lift your ankles so that the height of your knees. And then press your feet away. And you're going to bring your hips into 90 degrees in the hip socket. So notice what happens when you push those legs a little closer in. It's easier on your belly. Move those feet a little bit further away, not too far. You got 90 degrees through the knee joint, 90 degrees to the hip. Place your hands on your thighs and give a little press of your hands to your thighs. Press your thighs to your hands. And then feel the contraction of your pelvic floor and wrapping around the corset of strength around your core. Keep your hands where they are and let your right knee move down to the floor away from that right hand, and then return it to the right hand. And then take the left heel, tap it down, and return it to the left. And then switch. So here's where we go. If you have a little more core strength, you can go ahead and extend that right leg all the way out and let it touch the ground. If you do that and your low back screams, then keep the knee bent. Do the same to the left. Bring it back to the hand. And switch. You're wanting to keep like your navel's moving down towards the mat. Your hands are just a reminder of where your thigh is returning. You should be starting to feel this a little bit more. If you've got a little bit more core strength, both legs can go down and then they return. Don't do this if your low back is unhappy. Just bring one knee down at a time. Good. One more time. Are you breathing? Good. And release. Hug the knees in, wrap the hands around the thighs. And just rock side to side. Plant your feet down, placing them close to your buttocks, your heels as close as you can, but not letting the legs splay out. Keep the knees aligned with your hip points and your second toe. Good, and then drop the feet down to the mat and start to lift your hips up, not letting your legs splay out. Keep those knees aligned. Shimmy the shoulders closer together and stay right there. Interlace the fingers, bring them up under. If you've got that, you can use a strap or a towel under your hands to reach for that. Good. Working a little bit more core, choose to lift that right leg straight out. Maybe lift it straight up. Good. Bring that leg down. Feel yourself lifting. Feel that in the hamstrings and the glutes. And then lift the other leg straight out and then straight up. And bring that leg down and start to release and empty. And let the soles of the feet touch. Let your knees splay out. While you're there, take those arms up and then wrap around, giving yourself a hug where you can. Drop the elbows down into that chest. Good, and then open out and switch the arms down on the top. Feel your shoulders dropping down. Feel that splaying in your shoulder blades. Good, and then open, bring the hands to the thighs. Fold those legs in. And the hands come up under those thighs and rock front to back. And then rocking forward. Extend those legs out, place your hands on your knees and just take a little rock. Come around onto all fours. Feather out the fingers and lengthen your trunk. You're going to extend out with your right foot and let your left arm reach out. Choose to lift that right leg, keep it parallel to the mat. And then bring the knee into the elbow. Inhale and take it out. Exhale. Inhale. This is great for the back. Exhale. Inhale. One more. Good. You can choose to stay there or bend that right leg and take the left hand back for scorpion. Reach with the foot. Press into the foot. Open the chest. Good. To reach the leg out. Bring the hand down. Just kind of float yourself back, sending your hips back towards your heels, shimmying around, go the other direction. Good, and then come back into alignment, table. And take your left leg back and be on the ball foot. Lift the right arm up. You can always stay here. You can lift that left leg. Elbow in towards the knee. And then inhale, carry it out. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale and hold. Not the breath, just the pose. Maybe stay there or reach that right hand back. Bend that left knee. Reaching back to the foot. Press the foot into the hand. Open the chest. Good. Opening your hip flexor a bit as well. Good, and release. Knees can go wide, knees can stay narrow, block can go under the groin, or you can put it right between those legs on the groin, and just send your hips back, child's pose. You bring the hands under the shoulders. You can sit up on a blanket here if you're on a harder floor. We're going to move into gate pose and also back bend with camel. So you could have your feet flexed or on the top of the foot, whatever feels right for you. So moving into gate, keep those hips in alignment and step out with one foot. Your foot can be parallel to the edge or point out or be on the heel, whichever feels most stable for you. What you don't want is just be hanging out with this hip. So lift straight up, find energy into the legs, drop the arms down, drop the shoulders. Inhale and sweep the arms up. Where the leg's extended, you're going to bring that arm down and fold over laterally to that side. And gate pose. And then inhale to return to bring the hands to the hips and step the knee in. Choose to flex those feet. I'm going to turn so you can see this. You can flex the feet, you can keep them to the top. Bring the hands around the low back and squeeze the shoulders together. Open the hip crease. And then lift through the throat, keeping your shoulders rolling down. Send your hips forward, lift the heart as you move into camel. Inhale to return. Come on to all fours. And then lift your tailbone up, navel down, open through the chest. In dog tilt, and exhale, tailbone down, hold the navel in, chin to the chest. Inhale, and open. And exhale like a scary cat. One more time. Good, and then come to neutral, walk the hands on back, choose your leg position or foot position. Extend out with your other leg for gate. Your hips are squared up so you're not dumped into this hip. Lift it up. You're going to feel that opening in your inner thigh. Drop the shoulders down, sweep the arms up, and then place the hand down and laterally moving to that side. And breathe. You can look up, you can look straight ahead. With the arm, drop the shoulder in. And then inhale to carry you back. Choose your position here. You can also use your blocks for this to move into full camel. You can place the blocks. They're a great little tool to help you reach back. I try not to do the camel that one arm goes down at a time because this is a big load to the body and a twist to the back. So let's just move in kindly and gently. Bring the hands around to the low back, roll the scapula down, open the hip crease and open your throat. And then send your hips forward as you open the chest. Choose to stay there, or maybe you're going to start to reach back for the blocks or your feet. And then open your chest. Keep the knees aligned with the hips and breathe. Inhale, lifts you back. Good, and you can take a block or a blanket, place it between the legs at the groin. It's right under your pelvis. This is giving you some support if you have knee issues. You can stack your fists in child's pose, or you can just take a full child's pose. Good, and letting go. And feather out the fingers and roll the shoulders down. Flex the toes as you're moving downward facing dog, so flex those toes, send the hips back, wrap the armpits up and under, and find your downward dog. So downward dog eventually becomes a nice restful place to be. So if it's feeling uncomfortable, notice what messages your downward dog is giving you. What do you need to do to make it more comfortable? Besides get out. Walking your feet to the middle of your mat and let your belly relax over your thighs. Move the hands to the shins and lift up through the trunk. And take the arms out, nice tall mountain. And release. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this, but I'm going to stay this way. You can turn to the side if it's easier on your mat. So we're going to just do some work with squats here with goddess pose. So take your feet out as wide as your arm length so that your ankles are kind of underneath your ankles. Your wrists are underneath your ankles. I'm glad your ankles are under your ankles. Your wrists are under your ankles. Right, and then keep the top of your head right over the bowl of your pelvis. So you're not going to let the buttocks drop back and your belly and chest move forward. You're going to keep everything tucked under. And then we're just going to flow with this just a bit, okay? And then we'll hold. So root down with the feet. Feel the energy moving up your inner thighs. And then take the arms out, lift them up, and sink. And then come back up. Good. Inhale all the way up. Exhale back down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. This one we're going to hold. So inhale. Going to reach those arms all the way up and let the elbows go out. And breathe. Press through the feet, bring the hands and hips, bring the feet parallel, push up, and bring your feet back to the center of the mat. Take a moment, be still. And from the top of your mat, go ahead moving into a warrior two. Let your right foot go back. Working on lunges, working on leg strength here. And bend the front knee. Good. Reach those arms out. Reach them up and then straighten the front leg. Then exhale and bring it down. Inhale and straighten. Exhale. Inhale. This time hold the pose, focus, breathe. Notice where you're holding any tension and see if you can create a little more ease. Notice where maybe there's more weakness in the body. You need to bring a little more strength there. Press into the feet. Lengthen the front leg, reaching forward. Not letting it go yet, come on back. Exhale, reach forward. On this next one, you're going to reach it forward. Find your triangle. Maybe the upper arm stays down. Maybe it lifts. We're working on core strength. Top arm from the frame of the head. Lower arm can lift. If you can't breathe, then bring an arm down. Good. Bring it back up. Feet go parallel. Push off the back leg. Come to the front of the mat. Close your eyes. And bring your hands to your heart. Root down at the feet. Sink down into a chair. And then come back up. Let's do a few of those. Sink down. And return. Good. One more. This time we're going to hold. Remember, never holding breath. Holding pose. Maybe arms go out. Maybe arms go up. Check your tailbone. Is it going down, or are you loading your low back? Find that place. Sits bones going down the mat. Press through the feet and release. Close the eyes and feel the heat. Good. Long step back with your left leg. Preparing for warrior two. Roll shoulders down. And then bend that front knee. Open those arms. Lift them up and straighten the front leg. Exhale and sink. Inhale. Exhale and sink. Inhale. This time hold the pose. Then straighten the front leg, moving into your triangle, reaching and then return. And reach. And return. And reach. Bring the lower arm down. Maybe the upper arm stays where it's at. Maybe it goes up. Maybe it goes overhead. Maybe the lower arm lifts, but can you breathe? Good. Root down the feet and lift. Feet go parallel. Push off. Come to the front of the mat. And close your eyes. You can take your feet just about as wide as your mat. More squats, getting strong in our legs. Lift up out of your waist to the head. And then just sink it down and return. And sink. So when you're going down, keep going. Notice you're not sending your buttocks back. You're going to keep it sinking straight down. Nice neutral back. Okay, just 1,000 more. That means 4. Here we go. I'm always checking to see if you're paying attention. Last one, and hold. Keep breathing, arms can go out. Arms can go out. Good, bring the hands to the heart, and release. So we're going to move into a lower squat, and you might want to roll up your mat to the edges and use it, or a blanket. And notice I've rolled it long. You don't want it short. You want it long because you want it as wide as your mat, beyond your hip width. And you could also use your blocks and kind of put your feet up to the edges of that. So some of you won't need this, but some of you will. So if you have knee issues, you might not go all the way into a full squat. Shore up your core, feel your pelvic floor lifting, roll the shoulders down. Your heels are on the edge of the blanket here. And then you start to sink on down. So maybe you're like, oh, that's all I got. That's okay. You don't have to bring them any lower. If you can bring them all the way down, okay? If you do not need it, you want to have your heels on something, so you shouldn't have your heels airborne. If you bring your heels to the ground, go here. You can bring your hands on down, bring those knees inside. And then move the blanket to the side. If they're out, the fingers choose to be on the knees. I'll do that to help kind of remind you. And you're wanting your elbows to rub against your side body, not out to the side. That's tweaking the wrists. And you also, when you're out here, you're not bringing that line in to use your lat muscle, which is that big muscle of your back, to keep yourself from dropping out. So from here, keep your kind of chest flying forward, and then bend those elbows, and then push it away. And exhale. Two more. Good, and then keep the hips over the heels. Let your arms go forward, over hips over knees, and then just maybe open the palms. There's a different stretch to the armpit and the elbow. Walking those hands on the neck. Move the legs around. Just get a nice easy shape. So choose to use a strap here or to put a blanket under your knees. You can also just bend the knees. As Abigail, like shepherd. Open those hips, spiral, flush around. Toes point towards the ceiling there. Roll the shoulders down and find Dandasana so that you're in the staff pose and your legs do not need to be straight like mine. Take me a while to get there. Good. Moving into Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Spinal extension begins the shape. And then the arms can go up or they can walk alongside the legs. And hinge from your hip. So if you're starting to round in your low back, bring those arms down. And breathe. Slowly descend. And then you can reach for that strap or the feet, but you don't want to be rolled in your shoulders. You want them to be down. This is stress. This is de-stress. Lift up out of your waist to the head. And then let your body melt forward and give inflection is healthy for your spine. Notice that by breathing and just staying a little bit longer in the shape. Something new is just second. Different sensation. It's better. And then lift the trunk, feel the power of the legs helping you. You can take those arms along the way or reach them up. Let it go. Bring your hands back and let your body just melt a little into the hammock. Abigail says, good job. There we can hear her. Okay, so working on core strength a little bit more. So for this one, it's inclined plane, Paschimottanasana. You can place your hands so they're facing this way, or straight back. What you want are your shoulders to roll down. That's the important aspect of it. So it doesn't matter really which way your hands are. That's more about how your shoulders feel. I find they work really good when they're pointing towards my buttocks, but that might not be comfortable for you. Feather through the fingers and get those hands rooted down, and then connect the sits bones. And maybe you're going to stay here and just lift your chest and open the throat. This is a great place to be. You can stay here. You can bring your right leg in, and then lift and move the left foot to the mat. And then start to let that go. Take the feet wide. You're going to clasp your hands underneath your legs and around your mat. Letting go, find that hand position, sits bones down. Remember, you can keep your hips on the ground. Open through the chest, open through the throat. Choose to stay here. Or bring your left foot in, press into the ground and lift. Move your right foot towards the mat, opening the hips. Feel that in your back of your arms, your triceps. Keep the neck lifted. Mindful letting go. Good. And then take those feet out, clasp the arms once more. And then let it go. Bring the soles of the feet together. You can sit up on the edge of a blanket here to shift your pelvis. Notice how that just made my pelvis open up even more. I'm pretty open in the pelvis, but boy, that makes a lot of difference. And you can also put blocks. I like to kind of wedge them into the corner, right up under where my leg crease is. So lift up out of the trunk and keep your trunk in extension so you're not rounding your low back. Lift, hinge forward from the hip and feel that in the inner thighs. So you can stay right here in this extension, okay? The great thing is you could use a block or a bolster to put your head forward or tuck it into your chest. There are all sorts of things you could do here, or just stay here. You could also round from the mid-back and upper back, tucking the chin to the chest, drop your elbows down to release the trapezius, the back of the neck, the musculature that connects from the back of your skull all the way down into your shoulder blades. Come back to the extension if you've gone there and let that go. Fold the legs back together. And then I'm going to move into just an easeful stretch here. You can either do this, we've done it before, the figure 4 where you cross the leg. If it's more comfortable for your body, you can go down on your back and just lift and go into figure 4 if that's more comfortable. Otherwise, you can bring the leg on up and find your legs active. Notice if you sunk down into your trunk, roll the shoulder down and lift your trunk. Your hands can be behind you. And notice what happens. Just play with it. What happens when you move it out here? What happens when you move it closer in? Just find that place. Moving the trunk towards your shin. Good. So you can stay right there or go down onto your back. Okay, and cross the knees. So you're letting them touch. Right now I'm going to show a seated variation, but this one generally is a more kinder variation. So you're not going to reach for your ankles because that pulls the tibia away from the knee joint. Okay, and just reach just up below the knee joint and draw the knees in, and then you can splay the legs out. And you're going to feel that move right along the seam from the buttocks. It's kind of that place where sciatica wants to raise its ugly head up into the side of the knee. So you're just getting that iliotibial bend. You can find action in the feet as well, which will help. Now, if you're pretty open in the pose and you've got more accessibility, some people are actually able to do this position in the seated variation called cow pose. So, but if you're sitting with your spine all contorted, then your body's saying, please go on my back. If you're up in the seated position, your hands can be placed on your feet, elbows lift, send that trunk forward, hinging from the hip, and then bow down into that, tucking the chin to the chest. Remember, not more enlightened if you can do it in a seated position. You're more enlightened if you choose to do the pose that works for you today. And when you're ready to, just releasing. Let go of the legs. If you're on your back, just unthread those legs and let your feet go side to side. Knees moving side to side. If you want to stay in that seated position for that figure 4, you can do that, bringing your other leg on up. And then just notice the difference. Is this one tighter? Notice if you're slumping in your shoulders, roll shoulders down, lift the chest, activate the foot. And be willing to play. What happens when I move it out to the side? What sensations do I have there? Does that feel good? Is that releasing something? And then if you'd like to, you can cross those legs over. You can go down on your back. And if you do, you're going to reach for your shins. Okay, not down by your ankles. Reach up by the knee. Otherwise, the seated variation. And hands go up onto your feet. You want your hips down to the ground. You're kind of trying to move those feet out so they look like horns. There's the nose, there's the nose. And then lift up through the trunk and you hinge forward. And then tuck the chin in, Jala Bandha, and walking the foot. And then really lengthen the spine, letting those legs go, whether you're on your back or seated. Let the feet go wide and just drape the knees side to side. And then getting your gear for inversion. You can use blocks and you can use a blanket. If you use a blanket, I do recommend kind of opening it out so you have a little more space for your pelvis. And it could be this way, or you could stack it and get a little more length. Okay? I like to say, if you make a burrito, you can make it an enchilada. Okay. Or you could use a bolster. And then you're going to make your way down on your mat. But let's start from here, unless you have back pain. If you have back pain, draw your knees in and just roll to the mat. Action in the feet and slowly descend. Reach the arms up over the head, recline mountain. Notice where the back of the head, the mid-back, and the sacrum touch the mat. Natural give in the neck and the lumbar region. Then notice your breath. And bring the arms down alongside the body and bend your knees. Heels close to the buttocks. And press into the ground to lift the hips if you're going to go into this one, and let your hips sit on the block or the bolster. Remember, if you have unmedicated high blood pressure, if you are on your flow, especially the heavy tongue, dealing with migraines, sinus issues, anything happening in the eyes or the head that's uncomfortable, keep your hips on the ground. Just take a moment to feel what this is like right where you're at. If your hips on the ground, you might want to let your knees touch and your feet go up. You can do that with your hips on the block as well. And then bring the legs together, lift them together, feel the core taking them up. And find your ankles right over your hips. So you're not trying to move them over your eyes or your head here. Time to be. And just noticing your breath. And bend your knees. Allow your knees to touch and your feet. You go as wide as your mat. Just take a moment to be still. Just allowing the effects of deep-rooted prana. It's just radiating in your body. Notice the clarity of the mind. It's all good. It's all soothed. And just kind of line those feet a little bit more towards the hips. So be nice to your knees and lift your hips and slide the gear out from underneath. Take a moment to be still. Choose to use a blanket in a long or short way, or a bolster, or a block. I'm going to show you how to do fish as well. So you can use your blanket in a long way. And you can lie over that. You can put your block. It would go either here or here instead of a blanket. Dogs are saying hello. I'm going to put this where the edges of the blanket in, and this is the more folded in. And you just slide over the top of that. And you can take and tuck that under the head, and you can let your legs extend out. So that's one variation, and it's really good restorative. Today we'll play, if you want to try it. It's important to really pay attention to the body's messages as we move into this fish. And have the concept that, you know, my legs weigh more than my arms, so maybe I don't want to lift them. Okay. So, to go into fish, bring the legs together. You don't want to put them under your hands under your buttocks, because unless you learn to levitate, you're not going to be able to get your hands out from under your buttocks. So bring those legs together, let the edges of your big toes touch, and then press the balls of your feet away like you're wearing high heels. Bring your thumbs so they're kind of down by the legs, the palms are down. Shoulders are down. And now press the balls of the feet away and feel yourself moving into dog tilt, and feel your chest lifted. Maybe stay here. If your hips are on the ground, you can bring your hands on them. You can also lift the legs. And to come out, bring the hands down, load the elbows, bring the legs down, lift your head. Slide the body down and then completely let go. You can also just stay on that blanket and enjoy it. Time to be still. If you're still on the blanket of the block, bend your knees, and then move your knees to the side and take the gear out from your back. And then just return, tuck those knees up in. Bring your knees all the way into your chest and give yourself a hug. Arms can go out to the sides like a T. Let your knees fold in one direction using blankets or blocks underneath. If there's any tension along the side body, look in the opposite direction of your knees. Stay right here with bent knees, or extend the top leg out. Maybe reach for it and lift your hand. Big toe. Peaceful. Maybe if you extend the leg out, then on that. Come back to center. Maybe move one leg at a time. And just be still. Let your feet down. Knees touch. Just bring in awareness to the energy. Let your knees move in. Give a little hug. Arms out to the side. Drape your knees in the other direction. Bring complete awareness to the differences. Maybe the side's tighter. Look at the opposite direction of the knees, drop the shoulders. Use any gear that helps assist you with the posture. Blocks between the legs, blankets, and pillows. What can you let go of? Maybe you want a little more edge. Extend the top leg out. These fingers through toe. It may have a different sensation on this side. You're still able to breathe. Slowly return back to center. And bring your hands on the inside of the legs, reaching for your ankles or the tops of your feet. Maybe let your knees go to the side, gently rock. Maybe one leg goes up in blissful baby, maybe both. Maybe just switch them out. Eventually, start to slide the legs down onto the mat slowly. Feel free to put blocks under the knees or blankets. Allow your body to release into gravity, as if you're on a warm bed of sand. Your body just lets go completely. There's no effort in the legs, the arms, the trunk. Your head releases. Completely at ease. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest. back and be the observer. Less likely to be reactionary, more likely to be proactive. Single cell elegance. Successful microbes mutate. They see an evolutionary need become the seed that spawns a different being. They seize chance opportunities, try new paths, have no fear of changing appearances. These single cells hold the keys to transformation. They equate stagnation with death and see that releasing form is the only way to enter into essence. Allowing different methods to produce different changes. Begin to deepen your breath, calling your body back. Wiggle the toes, rock the ankles, thread the fingers, gently rotate at the wrists, gently move the head. Kindly draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a hug. Maybe repeat your name and send yourself some love. Remember, you must fill your pitcher before you can pour. Eventually let your body roll onto your right side. Taking a moment here to revive. Take some inhalations. Repeat your attention. Just infuse your body with your intention for the day. And when you're ready to, the hands can go down on the mat from your chest, help you to come up to an easy seated position. Find some space to take some deep breaths. Just clarifying the mind a little bit more to relaxation. Vibing. And bring your hands heart center and take a moment to hold gratitude for the souls that met together, did yoga in their own space, but in our combined energetic space of sending love, passion, kindness. And then take a moment to hold gratitude for your own body, for all the wonderful things that it does for you as it houses this soul. Uniting voices in the sound of Om, that universal vibration. Taking an inhale. Audio Shanti Shalom. Peace. Namaste.